Tanya Fowler, my child and his hair. Um, um, I think I need to make this video for the new people or the people who know me and are starting to try and understand. They're watching my YouTube and they're like, "What? What? Okay. What is happening?" And they either know me from before or they just like stumbled on me. What's happening? I'll explain the whole almost 12 months. Almost 12 months. Oh my goodness. In a couple of days, it'll be 11 months of situations that I've been through. Like it's almost 12 months of stuff. So, to start off, let's start with the basics. I'm trying to keep this short in the sense of the last time I explained what's happening, I imploded. I was swearing, and it was an hour plus long. I won't put too much details because it's a lot of things. That's why I'm going to write books. But I'll try and explain. So, first, let's start with what happened or what am I waiting for? Because it's a wait. It's a wait. I am waiting for promises. There are three distinct promises from God that I'm actively waiting. Not like, oh, I'm doing something and God gonna provide these things. No, no, no. I have to sit, pause, let God provide everything I need, and wait for these three things. One, a husband that He already said I'm God declared married to. Two, resources. So there is some funding that I'm supposed to get according to God and a vision He gave me that is supposed to provide and pay and fund all the dreams and visions He's given me of things He's going to do in my life. Three, a platform, elevation, or a space where He's going to put me through grace, because I have no way I know how it's going to happen. I don't know how they're going to make me this, but that elevation is going to be Miss World. He has given me multiple confirmations and visions and more that I'll be Miss World 2021. Mind you, it was postponed from December 16 to March 16, which is exactly a year and 1 day since this active waiting has begun. In 2021, on March 15, God woke me up at 4-ish, 3 in the morning and said, all right, all the things you pack, because He told me to pack from the week before, pack for Miss World, like you're going to England, which is where you're going to live when you or stay for a while or something like that. For the year, you're Miss World. And so He's like, pack for England. Now, that was the week before, then March 15, go downstairs, sit in the living room, carry your suitcase, and wait. And I thought it was just for the funding. No, it's these three things. So let's start explaining. So I explained first his husband, then it's funding and elevation. So let's start with elevation first. The elevation is Miss World. So God is going to put me at a platform to become Miss World. And Miss World 2021, He declared it and He said it and He told me to actively wait on March 15 for it. This didn't technically start on March 15. This March 15 last year. This started many years ago, but let's say the earliest tangible time I can tell you is 2018 when I was working for a job, in a program looking for a job because I need to pay my bills. While being an actor, struggling actor, I need to pay my bills. I went into a youth program that helped you get a job or help you find jobs, and you were supposed to make a vision board on what you want to be, and God was like, draw what I show you. Draw the vision. So I drew this in 2018. This is a copy of the original. And what I drew is a symbolism of the vision I saw, which is in the moment I'm crowned Miss World. This is what this means. This is what you see here. I'm wearing this dress. I want to make this dress. I'm wearing this dress as a crown as Miss World. And these are thought bubbles of what I'd be thinking in those moments. It would be my past, and that is what I've endured. Whether it's people saying I can't, telling me I have to compromise my life, my beliefs, or that I won't survive or succeed. The struggle of my mental health, where I was going through depression or have to smile through it. So it's drawing off me in tears on the side. I'm smiling. So I'm struggling, like, you can see me smile, but I'm crying at night or whatever. Yeah. And the struggles I faced at that time when I drew it was like my car breaking down, didn't have transportation. Um, my old car then was called Old Man Frank. So what it says is fun, Old Man Frank. What is it? Oh yeah, Old Man Frank. Why? And oh boy, not again. Because it was breaking down while I was going to auditions and and then the devices that I had were just always breaking. I had laptop breaking, and I didn't have the funding or money to replace anything, but I needed it for acting, everything. I needed it. So at the time, I was just like, okay, I'll look back at my past and I'll be like, I endured all of that. And now I'm here. Funny how this is when I struggled with that, which is light compared to the last almost 12 months. It's, yeah, 11 months of wait. So, anyways, so I'll be in this moment. Then after Miss World, I'll be heading towards my future, which is what you see here, which is my production company, which is, this would be like, when you're watching Warner Brothers or whatever, you see their logo or their thing come up before the film. That's what you see on the TV. And then here's the storefront. So that's what I drew. Vision of what God gave me. That was 2018. That's after I entered Miss World Canada and I got through the first regional eliminations, our first regional competition, and I was crowned Miss Mississauga District World, and I was struggling getting a job and trying to push forward. So that's what happened then, and I drew that and I thought, oh, it's gonna be Miss World Canada. I'll be, I didn't make it past that. I don't even think people remember me. And so I was like, okay, 2018 didn't work out. 2019, let me go to Jamaica and try to, because God is like encouraging it. Like last minute, everything worked out for me to come that summer. And I came in just in time for the eliminations that was on Sunday. And it's the first time they were doing eliminations on Sunday. I was like, oh, God, you line it up, right? And I didn't get in. I took a one-way ticket, and I didn't get in. I was like, okay, what am I here for? Could you line up everything? Everything wasn't working out, but you're like, just trust me. And it last minute. And that's when God did the seed planting of a lot of things. So for my production company and ideas, what I'll do in Jamaica and so on, that's when I got those ideas. And on top of that, that's when I met the future husband thing, and God was planting seeds. So that was that. So we did the promise that God said, which is Miss World 2021. And now we're going to go to the funding, the thing that will be funding all the dreams, the promises, the visions that God has given me. And that is some money. He initially said $10 million. And he said it at a time last year around this time. I can figure it out. So not this time last year, but like in a couple weeks last year, after it was a Saturday, woke up. But let's start with the conversation I had the night before. What happened was the night before I was talking to a friend. And this friend, we always talk, reason, sometimes I have arguments. And it's ridiculous. Sometimes I entertain it. And he was like, what do you do? And I was like, I told you, I'm an actor. He's like, oh, so you do like this and that? I was like, yeah, I've done auditions, I've been in these things, that things, and so on. And so when I was telling him these things, he's like, why don't you do these things? And I was, I'm doing them, but it's just difficult because it's not working out, and people are asking me to compromise my belief, whether it's Sabbath or so on, and it's not working out. It's like, what? Yeah, you have to compromise. You have to compromise everything. Like, you have to give something to get it. And I was like, well, I get that, but I'm not compromising any of my beliefs or my standards or whatever. And he's like, well, you're not gonna make it. You have to, you know? And I was like, well, I guess not, but I'm not compromising and I'm going to make it. I'm going to. And then I was just like, God, we're going to work together and you can work out, make my own production company in a couple of years. It just, yeah. So I know God will work it out and it will work out. And literally the next day, that was a Friday night, we were discussion, and he's like, and I did not make him bother me because I'm like, I saw the visions, I had the plans, I had the movies and so on that I have written or part written, that I have ideas that are I've written that I know would be bomb, and I was like, I'm not gonna let him phase me. And so the next morning I woke, I was like, hey God, and God was like, remember that $1 million you prayed about? I was like, oh, so that $1 million. Let's pause for a second. So there is this Omaze competition that was our raffle that you enter to help something that you can get a house in Florida or $1 million, and you can enter for free because the raffle just feels like gambling, right? Even if it's giving helping out charity, it feel like gambling. So I entered the free one, and for a chance to win. So I was like, this is like tangible. And back in about November 2020, I did this. November, December. And I remember like, God, can I get this? And he's like, budget it if you wanted to budget. So I was like, okay. And I budgeted the whole $1 million. I was like, oh, I was like, God, please, can I get it? Can I get it? Can I get it? Can I get it? Can I please get that $1 million? Which is a house in Florida or $1 million. So I was like, can I please get it? Please. And so God was like, remember that 1 million? I was like, am I getting it? Am I getting it? And he's like, what if I doubled it? I was like, what if you what? You doubled the what? That would be more than I need. I already budgeted, and I'll just give away the extra one, because I know I budget the one. I'll give away the one to a bunch of people. I was like, all right, what if I give you 5? I was like, 5? Oh, so I was like, okay, let me budget that, because it's gonna be a lot. So I was like, one for this, one for that, one to give away, and I budgeted it into 5s. And I remember, because of the visions God gave me and where he's like, you're gonna put a production company. I remember having this vision in 2020 where I was driving past the property and God's like, there. I was like, oh, yes, it's a perfect spot for the production company. And he's like, I started envisioning everything there. And bro, even though I'm still having like ideas come in my head and I'm writing it down of what to put on that production company. And so I knew part of that money had to go towards buying that property and so on. So I was like, okay, this sounds like it's possible, because God been showing me these things. 2020, he's showing me where property. He's now saying, I'm going to provide the funding. And so I was like, So, so I'm budgeting this 5 million. I was like, cool. God, I like it. And then God told me after that, not to necessarily budget the 5 million, the budget, the money I was getting from the government, and, plan for receiving. So I was like, all right. But I kind of delayed that, and it delayed me getting in, and I just got it. So then I was like, all right, next Sabbath morning after that, in March, I was like, all right, hey God, I woke up one morning and was like, hey God, and God was like, cool, yeah. What if I doubled that amount that you have? The 5 million was like, double? I was like, this can't be God, because why you just get 10 million? Nope, can't be God. And the guy's like, I am God. I was like, I had to shut up, because he was like, I am God, I can do anything. Excuse me? It's like, just ship it up. It's like, what if I doubled it? I was like, okay, I double everything. And I doubled everything, and then started adding names, because before I was adding names, who to give, and he was telling me write these names down or whatever. So I started adding names. So yeah, it became 10 million. And then March 15th comes. He told me, do not go to Jamaica until you receive the funding, which is 10 million. Or something like, I thought it was the funding. I don't, like, it's kind of, but the point is, it's supposed to get the funding, and I thought that was what I was waiting on, or I may have misheard, because I'm in Jamaica right now, but I'm not Miss Jamaica World, or you know what I mean. So I was supposed to wait on that, but during that wait, which is now 11 months or almost 11 months of wait so far, um, the funding has increased, and at one point, God's like, I'm going to increase it. No, from the time he's like, you're about to receive and I didn't receive, he's like, do you trust me? I'm going to make it more abundant than before. Just trust me. And yeah, he told me the last number he told me was 25 million. And then he said, I'm going to be the beneficiary of, so 25 million. Now we talked about the platform, the funding, now the spouse. The most controversial part right now, because, let me tell you what's happened now. Before I go into the past, right at this very moment. No, let's talk about October 23rd, 4th weekend of last year. God told me one evening after I went out with a friend, just kind of spent out the day, because I was like living in my car, and he's like, yo, come spend time with me. I was like, cool, because he's not feeling very well and whatever, and just to keep me company. And I'm like, by myself, so sure. And he's doing delivery stuff, so fine. I went back home, my car, and I was chilling, and I was like, all right. And it's like, I was like, you're married, prepare for it. And did it in a very unavoidable way that I could not question if it's God. I knew it was God. And he's like, you're married to Raheem Fowler. Those who don't know or read my tweets, his name is Raheem Fowler. So anyways, that's what God said. And then with time since then, it's like, act like it. And because if I walk down the aisle, okay, let's just understand it. And I know this is what God was asking me, because back then he's like, prepare for it. It's like, wear the ring, because I bought this ring off AliExpress, just because I was like, what design would I want? And I found this design online that I was like, yeah, that's the design. Because he asked me last year, around this time last year, or a little bit earlier, he's like, okay, what ring do you want? Or a little bit earlier, and even my sister came and we were finding rings for each other, and I'd end up figuring out what I want. And I was even going to, like, I was like, oh, go find a design. What do you want? Yeah, it can be diamond. And so I was like, okay. And then I found the design I like. And then I found a cheap Chinese version. I was like, let me test it out. Because I don't want anything that's too big for my hand is small. And so I didn't want something too big. I want something that speaks and nothing that's too hidden. But at the same time, I don't want it too loud and too big for my hand. So I was like, this sounds, that's cool to be it. And then I bought it and I tested it. So this is the tester to test run it. And I would wear it around, and my sister was like, oh, nice. And I normally wear a ring on my ring finger for a while just to kind of push away unwanted men or whatever. So from last year, I had this ring, but I didn't wear it often because I realized it's faded. It's supposed to be silver, but it's faded. Anyways, because of the well wear. So anyways, back to after October 23, where God said, prepare, you're married, prepare for it. In God's eyes, I am married. Prepare. So it's like, okay. And so by the time now, he's like, go to Jamaica when you go, consummate it. And this ring, I was wearing something else before. And for some reason, while I was in the airport, it fell off. Trying to repack, it fell off. And this was the only thing I could wear in the airport. And he's like, go put it on. So I was like, okay, fine. The other ring in here. And this ring started just stay. And the Holy Spirit was like, don't take it off. Anyways, just saying. With time now, God's like, I was wearing the ring and I was saying, God says I'm married, so I can't entertain people. And God already told me not to date from months ago. So I wasn't dating. I wasn't entertaining it for the most part. And I was trying to, keep the space, just, when God deliver, right? Because okay, I see what you're doing, but act like you're married. I was like, so I remember I was like thinking, if I walk down the aisle, say yesterday or today, and say I do, sign the papers and everything, what would I have done? Okay, I would have been Mrs. Fowler based on his promises. So, okay, I am Mrs. Fowler. And on top of that, because of the situation I was experiencing at that time, I wouldn't tolerate what was happening, right? So I tried to resolve that first by going to them to let's talk it out. Because let's talk it out, let's be honest with it. Because if I'm married and me and my husband attack, we not deal with no block each other. No, no, no. We're resolving things. Or we figure out how to resolve things. Blocking each other and not talking to each other. Nah, for what? Like, bruh, it's not like a roommate. No, no, no. Husband. No. Yeah. So I thought, do that. Yeah, that's what I got to do. Obviously, that's what God is asking me to do. And so I didn't want to do it. I fought God for some days, and then a Saturday came, literally. Saturday, December 4th, because I remember because that's 3 months after I found out the situation that I'll explain. That's when I end up going there, and God kind of set up the situation where I end up getting angry. I was like, all right, fine, God, I'm going to do what you say. And I got angry and I did it. And yeah, I know God's like, all right, no, do it. Like, use the name. You are Danielle Fowler. Use the name. Just trust me and use the name. So that's recent, and that's what look crazy right now. And a lot of people are like, you're obsessed with a guy. But let's rewind. So yeah, it's a very complicated. This one is very complicated, so it's gonna take a little bit longer to explain. So let's rewind. So I remember I said before in 2019 I went to Intimates Jamaica World, but didn't even get through to eliminations, but got used that as a way as a seed planting. That's when I was working at a bookstore, and I met the God declared husband. And that's when I also started realizing, I would love to make a production company in Jamaica and create films in certain ways. So we're focusing on the God declared husband now. So I met him in 2019. He was young. I was 23. He was about to be 17. I left Jamaica when I was 16 and came to Canada and became an adult in Canada. So I'm not comfortable with dating at 16 to 18. Under 18, plus I had to adjust my mind to dating a younger guy, because I'm used to dating older. Anyway, while I'm used to dating older, I had a crush on a person that was younger right before I met him. I was like, oh, okay, I can, work with that. And so I had a crush on that, and I think that was a opening for me to get used to that idea, because soon after I met him. And it just worked out that we just clicked in a sense, so we just connect. That even though I was trying to stay away and I was trying to say no, like in my head I would say no, it just, like, I felt comfortable, I felt peace, I felt safe around the person at that time. And so eventually I fell in love, and I didn't want to admit it then, and I didn't want to admit it, but I was very structured and says, I have to make sure you have sense, and you have to, and because okay, let's talk, let's, figure this out, let's see if makes sense to like actually get done. And I guess for him, he's afraid of rejection, and he's like, no, why you're trying to tell me no? That's what he eventually explained. So that didn't work out, but the connection we had during that time was like unforgettable. So it still had a hold over me, and for some reason, let's break this out. At that time, God wasn't like actively saying it was him, but certain things just feels like, okay, this guy I would try it. And then for some reason, certain things just wouldn't. Every time I tried to talk to people about it, only certain people would be allowed to talk. I would be allowed to talk to them about it, and it's like every one of the people who would talk to about it all said, "Give him a chance. Give him a chance." It's like, everything just. Anyways, but for some reason, things just didn't work out. Every time we try, or times I was about to be like, okay, let's just do it. I don't want to, make a big deal about, let's just do it. It just didn't work. I was like, okay. So at one point, I'm trying to resolve, and then COVID hit, and then I got COVID at the time, and I was just stuck in my room. No one wants to believe it's COVID, but I just know everything's just coming back at me, and I'm trying to solve it, try to deal with it at that time. And then he was just like overwhelmed, and he also had his studies to do, and it just didn't work out at all. So I was like, you know what? Let's just give this up. So I was just like, done. This is done. Silch, nada, done. Done with him. So I still always want to go back to Jamaica, work out everything, and get a job down there as an online job and do my thing. So what ended up happening is my great grandmother died. Something we kind of anticipated for years because she had a stroke and she kind of became bedridden for a long time. So we're always like, okay, we have to prepare to make sure we can go for that. So that happened, and we had to go by the end of summer or close to the end of summer. And we went down, all of us, but it became an opportunity for me to accomplish my goal, which is go to Jamaica, get an online job and everything. So I was like, all right. They were going to stay a month. I would plan to stay longer and maybe forever, right? Or not forever, but long enough to get everything I need to do to feel like an adult, start saving, and start accomplishing all the dreams and goals I want to do. So I had that plan. I came down through them, and then my goal was to stay longer. And the opportunity was there, stay longer. And that's when I got close to his mother. And then she helped me find a location. And then found a location, but it's somewhere I'm not used to. These are people I don't know, and I was living there. Then they came around, and I saw it as they were trying to make me feel comfortable. Mother came around, he has to be around too, because it's his mom, and she's not going to let him stay home by himself. So I was like, okay, cool. That's where now things kind of found out that he had a girlfriend. So we started getting unrestrained time to be together. God using that. No, that's when God showed up. Because I was like, okay, God, what are you doing? I know I'm supposed to be here. And I feel like I was always at peace. And I knew I was supposed to be there. I even wrote a poem about it. It's like, why am I here? I'm trying to do a lot of things and it's not working out at all. But I remember reading something and they're like, when God is doing something, when you sit back and see what is working and what's not. Now, everything I had planned not working, but when it comes to this guy that I was like, I'm done with, I'm moving on. I'm learning. His mom giving me abundant information. He's giving me abundant information. I'm stuck in space where I have to get to know him. He's cooking all this, and I was like frustrated. But I was like, oh, so you're saying this? And then God gave me a vision of me walking down the aisle in a dress, and I was like, and then God's like, wait. Then after I left Jamaica, frustrated with the situation, because I felt like it was a torture, God's like, okay, stop rejecting him. I'm like, but he has a girlfriend. And then by 2021, he's like, call him, do this, do that. And then by October, as we explained, 23, the weekend, God said, I'm married to him in God's eyes. So we're back to, we're now on the same page now. So I have given a summary from the easiest thing to explain to the hardest, which is still complicated. Now let's talk about the wait. It's been almost 11 months of waiting on God actively. Yeah, my hair is graduating. I've waited, distinctly asked to wait. What are the limitations to my wait? On March 15, God asked me to sit in the living room, get my clothes ready, stay ready, and wait. So I sat there and I sat there for March 15th to April 22nd. And a mixture of different things. So it started off with me just sitting there all day, all night, sleep there, eat there, wait. And then eventually, like for a couple of days, he's like, just trust me, don't worry about it. But then I had to bargain with God. I was like, I don't like being stink or smell. Like, even if I don't smell, because I was like, I smell, but people are like, you're not, I don't smell you. Literally, other people are like, I don't smell you. So I was like, okay, but I smell myself, but I don't like it. So I want to bathe. So I had to bargain with God and be like, hey, God, so in the basement, there is a bathroom and the laundry. And my parents allow it because they were kind of like, okay, you sure it's not vices? And they call a counselor and whatever. And they're just kind of like, okay, yeah, but this, okay. We'll just, it's Danielle. So we'll just tolerate it for however long we want to tolerate it for. So they kind of tolerated me when I made this bargain with God. Can I bathe at the same time my stuff is washed so I can stay ready and and then I put it on and I come back and I sit and I wait. And he's like, all right, cool. But once you're ready, stay ready. So I was like, okay. Then somebody needed somewhere to stay, and so the basement was taken by someone else. So I couldn't do that every day anymore. Yeah, it was using electricity. I tried to use it at the nighttime, which is less electricity used. Then I had to do it every other day, and then I started getting boils, and it was so weird because this weight changed from me waiting in the living room. I stayed living in the living room to living in my car, and I've been gone weeks without bathing and never got boils. I have a feeling God provided also something to help me with that, but it's also God Himself changed the biological, bacterial chemistry of my skin, and I didn't have boils during those times. I had to be without shower, and it was God. Trust me, it gotta be God. It can't be me. As I've witnessed it where it's a short time of shower intervals and I have boils, but it's a long time I don't have boils, and I may have dead skin built up on my bottom of my foot at that time, at my foot bottom, but I never had boils. And so I went through a lot of things. So I ended up living in my car because my mom got frustrated with me living in the living room and sent me back to my room, which is another limitation God gave me after a while. Do not go back to your room. And I think it's a mixture of a symbolism of that's where my depression is, and that's where God is taking me from, and I'll provide, not your parents, but I'll provide. So whoever I allow will provide. So I couldn't go back to my room. I had to stay ready. And so my parents saying I have to go back to my room. I chose my own car because I know I'm paying that bill and everything. So yeah, it's mine. So I got my car. It had a flat tire. And so I was like, oh, the money will come. The sending in at that time will come and I'll pay for new tires. Nope. God provided. In a situation where the people are watching their camera, I stayed at a gas station for a whole week and they did not know. And at that time, eventually God provided. All my tires were changed for almost new tires by a random person that God used that was obedient. Okay, I don't think God used that person I don't think God chose that person randomly, but that person was obedient. And so, and they distinctly choose to, help. And they wanted to even help more. But anyway, I went through a lot. And so going through it, kind of feel like a little bit of a pause. I did say this before, and it kind of feels like a pause. I see the threats coming, but they cannot touch me or injure me or make it worse. Like literally, things just feel like it's relieving themselves. I haven't seen Raheem, the God declared husband. I haven't physically seen him since December 4th when God said to act like you're married, and that's when I got upset or whatever. That's the last time I've seen him before yesterday. And yesterday he walked in where I was and smiling but talked to someone else. We didn't have any discussion or converse or anything. But that's the first time I've seen him in months, like 2 months. And just even does explain that I personally see him. Maybe he's seen me in the zone or whatever. I don't really, I don't watch to see or look out for him. But at the same time, it just feels a little different. But at the same time, it's a lot. As I explained, like I just wanna on my birthday to cry. And so I've been through a lot. If you read old videos, you'll understand. Older videos, you'll understand what I've been through. If you scroll through my Twitter, just scroll back. Like go to about 10 months ago. No, 9, 8. You'll start seeing the things that I've been through, and it will, and you see the emotional struggle, the roller coaster of emotions I've been through, and yeah, yeah, I've been through a lot. I'm gonna have to use it as a database reference for a memory of where I was. Because here's the thing: I may not put a lot of details, but what I post will trigger back the memory. I was like, oh yeah, that happened. Mm-hmm. 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 Been through it. Still going through it. Hopefully the end is near. The end is now. Lord, please. But as I said, in the previous video, second flipping Corinthians 1 is the reason I have to go through these struggles. Something I said and I realized is I've been in a unique situation where I can understand someone who's lived in their car or have to live in their car or homeless. I've been also in a unique situation where I live in Jamaica where I don't have a job. A unique situation where I take a taxi. Honestly, I remember years ago because I was so used to driving all over where I want to go. I was like, when I'm coming to Jamaica, I have to work all the way to get a car, save up to buy a car, a nice something that can move. You don't have to be like the best thing, but move. And the other day, I was coming out of the taxi, and the fact that I don't have to drive, because driving it never says you have to focus and whatever. And I'm like, I kind of like this. I can think. I don't have to be focused. I can think. The wind is in my face. I I wanted the car, but the taxi travel for the past years that I've been here and I have to take taxi. Yes, it's a risk, and yes, there is dangers. But because even I had a relative that told me, "Don't go back to Jamaica. Oh, taxi man, some of them are bad man, and all of them are bad man." And I was like, I can't promise you that. I cannot promise that I won't come back. Stand firm on that. But I have a unique experience where I had privilege. Growing up, I had privilege. My parents had a car each. I lived in that area that was secluded and I was sheltered from so much. Like somebody keeps saying, you may have gone born in Jamaica, but you don't know Jamaica. And it's like, no, I'm knowing, but still, I have a unique experience of privilege, but now I have a unique experience of understanding those who don't. And I can also the unique privilege of being in so many of these problems that have put people in places where they rather death. But the difference is I've God and I can give tangible experience to say God is possible to heal, help, and restore. I am a living testimony, I guess. Because I literally have stories like yesterday. I used the last of my money the day before. I still went into town and I had other someone else's money and God just restore everything back. I don't owe anybody anymore from that money. But I'm able to move forward. I like a living testimony where as much as this is a lot, but God give me peace to trust and He give me reassurances to know that He's going to deliver. He's going to do what He says He's going to do. So I can use that's where Second Corinthians 1 explained why I have to go through all of this. It's sometimes I don't want to, but I understand the why. And I want it to be better. And I'm looking forward to the things that God said will be great. Because there's one thing if God says it's going to be problems, and I promise you that you go through, it's going to be all problems. But He don't know. He's like, I promise it's going to be great. So as much as it's all problems, I'm looking forward to the promises of greatness. Not good, great. Yeah. So that's the explanation. Thanks for watching.